And now some words from our sponsor. Flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, curd, bulbous, tender, dongle, pork, moist. Whether you're a construction worker, warehouse worker, or frankly a radio host, if you hear certain words on the job site, work can be uncomfortable. So at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots. Head to toe. Timberland Pro, not uncomfortable.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golick look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
So this should be a time of enthusiasm. I am not here to temper it. The Miami Heat are in the playoffs. They blow out the Hawks. The Miami Heat are the best thing we've had going down here for how long? Is it 10 years now? Is it 10 years? It's a fairly unbelievable run locally, because when the Dolphins were able to run this town locally, the other teams didn't exist.
Right. I mean, of those 10, it's really 4 years. Those 4 years were exceptional. I mean,
but this
the
is
other 6 have been, you know.
Well, wait a minute, though. They're playoff years. It's not what the Dolphins are doing. It's not what the Marlins are doing. It's not what the hockey team is doing.
That is totally fair.
Like, that's unfair by you, is what you're doing. The playoffs don't mean anything at all.
I was unfair. You made a great point, and I said that's totally fair. That's what happens when I say something unfair.
But I'm with you on football playoffs largely being an arbitrary measurement because the sample size is so small. That's why Tennessee makes it in, Buffalo makes it in, and it's just sort of this random thing. But over 82 games, it's more representative of who you are. Unfortunately, they're just good enough to make the playoffs. Like, that team,
right?
Anything it achieves in the playoffs is going to be an overachievement. We all know that. It's not the best way to enter the playoffs. The best way to enter the playoffs is 2010 through 2014. But in terms of expectations for a fan base, how much can you possibly be? You can hope that they're winning in the first round, but you know that the odds are stacked against you winning in the first round.
Right. I think fans are smart enough to realize that, although as the series approaches, they'll figure out a way to get themselves to a place where, hey, we can, take one of two on the road, come back here 1-1, something like that. Fine. And it depends on the matchup. Yes. If they're playing the Celtics, there's going to be expectations down here.
Well, that's the thing. Their matchup in the first round is going to be awesome. You're either going to get the Raptors, the Celtics, the Cavs, or the Sixers. Any of those series are awesome.
Man, that one's interesting, though, because you began to talk about this yesterday where, like, who should the Heat want? I don't want any part of the Sixers. No, thank you.
Oh, man, that's one of the best rivalries in the NBA this season. You take the Warriors out of the equation, that's a top 3 rivalry in the NBA.
Hold on, I think you're missing my point. I don't think they have a chance to beat the Sixers.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, Mike, if you're interested in a good matchup, then maybe you go Sixers or Cavs or something like that. If you're interested in trying to advance, I think you want the Celtics, don't you?
I couldn't disagree with Dan more on this. First off, we have the sample of the actual season where the Sixers and the Miami Heat are pretty close to each other, and you've got a young team that needs to learn how to win in the postseason. It's different, man. Those kids don't know. Those kids don't know.
Mike, neither does this team.
This team does.
No, it doesn't, Mike.
This team's been through the wars.
Mike, Hassan Whiteside sat out most of the playoffs.
Get out of here. No, well, that's Hassan, and I'll talk to him later.
Stop with the wars. Who they got that been through the wars?
Wade.
Goran went through it. 2 Game 7s in that playoff stretch, Dano. 2 Game 7s.
You
Charlotte, Toronto. I know Hassan Whiteside wasn't there for the important games against Toronto.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Who do you want more in a Game 7? Goran Dragic or Joel Embiid? Go eat me.
Oh, that's unfair. That's unfair. What I'm saying matters, though. You got a team that's never been there before, just doing it easily.
I don't believe it matters. I believe in the first round of the playoffs against a team that feels like an 8 seed. Against a team that feels like an 8 seed. A team that barely got into the playoffs. I don't like their matchups against anybody. You can delude yourself into thinking they could beat those 4 teams. Those 4 teams have been better than them all season, more consistent than them. And those 4 teams, save for Boston, which is injured, those 4 teams have better stars. So you tell me you've got a guy who's been in the playoffs. I say give me the star, whether he's been in the playoffs or not.
Okay, well, then I don't have to do that culture nonsense if you don't believe in it. I'll just point to the results this season. The Miami Heat are close to those teams when they take on them on the court.
Close to the teams. I don't want one-game samples. I want the 82-game
I'm not giving you one-game
sample.
samples. I'm giving you 82-game samples. Look at the Miami Heat head-to-head against the Philadelphia 76ers. All those games, coin flips. Every single one. It's the best rivalry in the NBA this season outside of the Warriors.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Outside of the Warriors. No, he started laughing when he thought I was going to go Houston. He started laughing.
Chris. That laugh is a good rudder and governor for where.
Take Warriors.
All right, put it in there. Is Sixers Heat the best rivalry in the NBA? Not. Because really, it's not even a rivalry. It's Hassan and Joel is rivals with everybody.
Oh, no, those games are super compelling. I think an NBA fan would agree. If you take the Warriors, Rockets, and Warriors, Oklahoma City out of the equation, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers, in terms of on-court intensity, that rivals the Wizards Celtics thing that happened last year.
What do you want?
I'm fine with either of those.
No, but what do you want, Homer? What do you want?
Cool.
Because, you want everybody because you can beat everybody because you're the mighty 8 seed. Okay.
We're not the 8 seed, by the way. We're the 6 seed right now.
Show them some respect.
That's a fine.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll beat the Sixers.
I don't mind drawing the Sixers. I don't mind drawing the Cavs. I think out of those 4 teams, Toronto, Boston,
separates
Cleveland,
them from the 8 seed? We're the 6 seed. What separates
the 6 seed?
Probably.
I mean, listen, we strive to be accurate on this show.
It's really not so much what separates you from the 8 seed. What separates you from the 9 seed?
I mean, okay, so you're better than. I love your chances. I'd love your chances against the Pistons. The 9 seed.
I mean, that season that they were the 3 seed and they played Charlotte, they won I think it was like a 4-way tie for the 3 seed.
Let me ask you this, confident Homer guy, because I'm
not confident Homer guy. I think you're just going the other way on this when I'm just pointing to results.
What's
Boston.
the other way?
I don't fear Boston.
Do not get defensive. Stay confident Homer guy. It's
I'm
okay.
not confident Homer guy.
You are. I love it.
You're telling me they can't beat teams that they've clearly beaten this season and they've looked good against.
I've told you that over an 82-game sample, they are not as good as these other teams that they've been playing against. That's not up for dispute. Over the representative sample in a sport where you do not want to go to the playoffs with the odds against you. It's the worst sport to go into the playoffs with the odds against you. Mike's already talked himself into the thing that you predicted. Like it'll get 1-1 or it'll be, they'll take a 2-1 lead or something will happen and then they will lose in 6 or 7 in the first round.
Okay, that's a good playoff series against teams that are good. These are compelling series.
I know, but to me, when I ask you the question, the thing that I'm asking you is, do you want to advance and who gives you the best chance to advance? And that's when I say, I don't want any part of Philadelphia. Hell, Mike, I think I can get you rattled on Homer confidence if I say, do you want a part of Milwaukee? Do you want Milwaukee?
No, Milwaukee's probably a team that I don't want to play.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. Philadelphia's better than Milwaukee over a representative sample. Milwaukee doesn't have anything real in the way of playoff experience either. You are Milwaukee. And you're not Philadelphia. Philadelphia's better than you are.
Philadelphia's a loser organization that's getting there for the first time. I mean, what is this with the Sixers? Are you not an NBA observer? Do you not know how this works with young guys?
Are you not an NBA observer? You can't win in the playoffs without stars. They've got 2 of them. You've got none.
The Miami Heat have one of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA, in Dwayne Wade. They have an all-star in Goran Dragic. They have a big man that can actually stay on the court in the final minutes in a series against Joel Embiid. They got guys that have been there, man.
If
you think these kids are going to just stroll into the playoffs?
He'll be on the court at the end if the coach plays him.
What is Brett Brown's career winning percentage? Please. Jesus. You mean to tell me these kids that just got their first taste of winning against like Milwaukee and Atlanta, laughing at the Atlanta Hawks, these cocky 76ers with their parliaments in Australia, complaining about guys who weren't all-stars, like Goran Dragic, by the way, who was, you think they're just going to stroll in and just wipe the floor with the Miami Heat? You're out of your mind because this team's been there before. This team's done it before. In fact, the Miami Heat will probably sweep the 76ers. Maybe they'll get 1 win on their home court as they're down 3-0 to keep their fans happy because they'll say, oh, we have something to build on. But the Miami Heat are not losing to the Philadelphia 76ers. I do not fear the Philadelphia 76ers. If there's one team in that 4-team equation that I kind of have respect for, but I still want to play, It's a team with LeBron James. And I still think we can beat him. Every single time we match up against these teams, what are we doing? We're ending the Celtics win streak. Yep. We're breaking LeBron over our knee. Yep. The Cavs haven't won in Miami since 2010, and I'm supposed to be over here, shaking in my boots. Toronto Raptors? Are you kidding me? That team's a joke. When the weather gets warmer, their booties get tighter. Yep. You know it. I know it. Nobody has faith in the Toronto Raptors. At the very least, that series is going 6. And you laugh at me saying that's an early exit? If it goes 6, you're going to talk yourself into thinking they can win. You know why? Because deep down in your heart of hearts, you know they can win. Because they have. Because we have the culture. Because we have the Godfather in Pat Riley. Because we have the best coach in the NBA in Eric Spoelstra. Because we got Dwayne friggin' Wade.
That's right. Experience.
Man. Joel Embiid is pretty good, though.
He is.
Give him that. Simmons, dynamic player. But they gotta suffer. They have to suffer. You gotta walk before you can run.
Yes.
And Philadelphia, you ain't even walking yet. You're crawling, baby. No. And I called you baby because that's what you are. Yeah. You're a baby. Infant. You're just a baby in this NBA. Talented baby. Talented baby. Super talented baby. Yes. Probably going first in the baby draft.
Baby with potential.
Big babies.
Yes.
Huge 7-foot tall babies.
Gigantic babies.
Athletic babies that can do pretty much everything on the court. Yeah. Play defense. Get assists. Shoot. Not so much free throws, Ben Simmons.
No, they got work on that.
But guess who's daddy?
Who?
Dwayne Wade is your daddy.
Right. Pops. That's right.
Dwayne Wade is your puppy.
Age is just a number.
Puppy is your puppy.
Yes.
He might be your grandpappy.
Yes, grandpappy.
Not really your daddy. Great granddaddy.
Pop.
But he's still a daddy of some sort. And he's gonna take you to the woodshed.
Father.
Because he's your dad. And I know that's child abuse now, and it's 2018. Yeah. In 2018, am I allowed to make a woodshed reference? I'm just asking a question.
Kick, save, and a butte.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Don Le Batard. Aren't you trying to run a homeless guy out of your cul-de-sac?
Yeah.
You want to tell the people that story?
Stugotz.
There's a homeless guy who is living in our community up in Parkland, and I'm aware of him. I've seen him. I've given him a loaf of French bread, but I don't have the heart to kind of go to any, of the management there and rat him out. I feel bad for him. So my strategy is if I tell enough people, perhaps someone will go to management and get him kicked out. But now he's upgraded, man. He's got like a little scooter. Got a basket on it, so now he just drives around the neighborhood. And I saw him this weekend, and half the loaf of French bread that I gave him a week ago is still there in the basket. I told him to eat it already.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Stugotz was muttering during the break, that homeless guy's still there. The bread's not there, but he's still there. He's still in the cul-de-sac.
Finally got around to eating that French bread I gave him. He's still there.
Billy, what have you spent the last 15 minutes doing that wasn't work, that Disney paid you for, just a giant waste of your time?
Wasn't work.
This is absolutely, have you ever heard of stats and info? That's exactly what they do all day. Just nonsense with numbers. So here's the thing, Dan. You're saying how the Heat, they're so great down here. Every year, they're the best thing going. Everybody makes the playoffs in basketball, okay? If the 5 of us suited up, we'd make the playoffs in basketball. Everyone makes the playoffs in basketball. So I decided, since everyone makes the playoffs in basketball, let me see, if I go back 10 years, how many times each of the local teams would have made the playoffs if 8 teams made the playoffs in each league in those 10 years?
That's fun.
Yeah.
Fun, right?
Yes.
While you were walking around doing whatever you were doing, and we were working here, Dan. That's what
I was going to the bathroom.
Well,
so like
did people even notice that I left in the middle of the segment?
You left?
You did? So you have like the top 8 from the AFC, top 8 from the NFC, essentially, is what you're doing?
Yeah, so what I did is I went to like each team's thing. So I did like Dolphins, Panthers, Marlins, Heat. And then I just did league standings, and I counted to see where they finished each year the last 10 years. You guys want to know the results?
I do.
What team do you want to know first?
Ooh.
Dan, your pick.
Yeah.
We'll spin an imaginary wheel.
Your
What did it
question,
land on, Dan?
You guys want to know the results. My answer was no. You didn't give me a chance to answer, which is
I answered on our behalf.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did.
You
yeah.
have power of attorney on our behalf. What did it land on over there?
You're the one looking at the wheel.
I was
Dan.
asking Stugotz.
It landed on the Panthers.
I can't see it from here. I'm not wearing my glasses.
The Panthers.
Isn't that a sport where 8 teams make the playoffs?
Yeah. Well, they were a little easier.
That was easy.
I didn't want to waste the research. Since you did it, I wanted to get them out of the way first.
So the Panthers this year, TBD. Even though we kind of know they're not going to make the playoffs, TBD.
Did you charge ESPN for the research that you did to discover how many times the Panthers would have made the playoffs during the last 10 years of the Heat in a sport where 8 teams are seeded? Is that something that you charge Disney for?
You know what, wise guy? Give me a year. I'll tell you where they finished.
Ooh.
I don't care about any of them.
2013, 15th.
2014.
2014, 15th.
Ooh.
Give me a year. Give you their place. 2013, 15th. 2009, 9th.
Wow.
2007.
2007, out of the 10-year window. Sorry.
It's a fine.
Anyways, TBD on this year. So I went back 11 years on the Panthers. They would have made the playoffs twice. And they did make the playoffs twice because it's 8 teams.
All right.
I was thinking it was
Spin it.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Spin it again.
Oh, wow. It's weird. It landed on Panthers again.
Panthers again. Okay, give me a year. Do another year. 2015, 10th.
2008, 09.
08, 09, 9th.
Exciting.
Another spin?
Yep.
Yeah, you're another spin. The coffee's doing that thing to your glasses again. What is it? Is it the steam?
Landed on Panthers.
Landed on
Panthers. Okay, give me a year. 2017, 13th. 2016 and 2012, the 2 playoff years, 3rd. So 2 times in 10 years.
Is there
they made
a
the playoffs.
point to any of this numbers crunching? you're doing?
Well, I mean, the wheel's
would land
faulty.
on another team.
Yeah,
we get
the
to the
problem's
point.
the wheel right now.
I'm pretty sure the point is the Marlins.
Okay, well, let's get to that, and let's see if we can...
It's not the point is the Marlins. You get Dolphins.
Oh, that's too bad. It landed on Panthers again.
Oh. Well, we'll just do football because this wheel seems faulty today. So how many times do you think the Dolphins...
What? Wait a minute. What?
No,
Yeah, it
he's
keeps
right.
getting stuck on the same
No,
thing. Sometimes the
$2.
wheel...
$2 penalty box. Get out of here. You don't disrespect.
What?
You don't disrespect the wheel. What's the matter with you? $2 penalty box. You could go crunch some more numbers those 2 minutes. See what you find. See how many times the
That
Panthers
was
would have made the
terrible.
playoffs the last
2
10 years.
minutes.
See if you can find that
2
on
times,
the internet.
2 times.
Can I have those numbers? Or, give me the numbers.
Mike, spin the wheel again. Get Guillermo out of here and spin the wheel again.
Oh, it actually landed on the Heat.
Well, they make the
Oh, that's fortunate.
Wow.
That's very fortunate.
in 10 years, 8 times.
Get out of here.
8.
Get out of here. Penalty box.
8 times. But they had a cheat code in LeBron. How many times would the Marlins have made the playoffs?
Just scream what the Marlins
8 times. The Heat, 8 times.
8
The Marlins, though.
He wants the sheet.
Marlins. I want the sheet, man. Give me the Glengarry's.
You'll get it when I come back.
No, I want the sheet. I'm the only one who's got your back here.
You wait 2 minutes. Sorry.
It's only a minute.
I saw the sheet. I know the answer.
All right, good. Let's Mike, bar that door that doesn't allow him.
Intellectual property. Close the door.
You're trying to shout through soundproof doors. Juan built these so that we wouldn't have to hear you when you were enraged in your imprisonment. It's all part of our plan. Chris, what's the point he's trying to make?
He's trying to make that if baseball had 8 teams that made the playoffs instead
he's
of
banging
the
on
4.
He's banging on these bank vault. He's
Not give him that information.
How'd you get in here?
Get out of here! Don't we have security? Is the sleeping security guard what's happening around here?
Security's napping.
Yeah, at home.
He's not here yet. I didn't see him when we walked in. What's he protecting us from? I was late to work today because somebody grabbed me on drugs and wouldn't stop taking pictures of me.
There's always people.
Who's he protecting us from?
There's always people wandering in here past him. Like, who knows?
Always.
Wait, you want him walking down the street with you? I mean, he's only supposed to be here. He doesn't do a good job of that. But.
No, but it wasn't down the street. I was coming into the hotel.
The security guard just walked in with all the banging to make sure everything was okay.
Oh, okay. We should do that once in a while just to make sure he's here.
Yeah, we woke him up.
Okay, wait a minute. Before we get back to whatever Billy's point was, which continues to
We should
elude
all
me.
run out of the studio and yell, "Bear! Bear! Bear!"
Let me tell
Do you
the
think he would run with us the other way, or come in here to protect us? What do you think?
bear.
All right, hold on a second. Let me explain this to the audience. Let me unfog my glasses and explain this to the audience.
Stephen Bear.
We've got a security guard who's always watching weightlifting videos, stealing our food, and wearing ankle weights. And as far as we can tell, hold on.
The ankle weights will help if someone's chasing us.
That's right. That's correct. Tell you, if there's a bear here, he's going to be the slowest one, and in that way he will help us because he will be caught first because he's wearing ankle weights. So here's where we are with this, and it's fairly fascinating because Mike is now in a place where he is getting some executive power, and you can see how he would earn it because there was a threat against our show once. Our show totally overreacted. We thundered in and got global security involved. Disney global security, as you can imagine, is pretty strong. And next thing you know, we're knocking at somebody's house because they threatened us. And man, was his dad pissed. So some 14-year-old kid threatened us.
Yeah.
Hey, the punishment from Disney global security was a grounding. And next thing you know, we've got a security guard.
Yep.
But Disney Global Security clearly didn't hire this person.
No.
It's a rotating band of weirdos.
Actually, not true. They hired him. They hired the company.
They outsourced.
Outsourced.
Yeah, they clearly.
All right, I'm scared of one of the dudes. All right, and I'm not the only one.
Yeah, well, that guy, he's doing his job.
No.
Scaring us is not doing his job.
No, he's doing his job. You don't
Comforting
understand.
us is doing his job.
Saving us, not scaring us.
I meet with every single one of these gentlemen before they take
No,
the
you
post.
didn't.
I meet with every single one of them.
You didn't meet with
And you approve this one?
You did not
I
approve
ask them what
this.
sort of skills they have,
No.
and if they scare me, then they're hired.
Chris, yes or no? The one guy I'm talking about,
He's always creepily pacing.
yes, you're scared of him.
Oh my God,
yes or no?
terrified.
2 black belts in jiu-jitsu.
Guillermo, yes or no? You're scared of that one guy?
No, I like Jason. He's a nice guy.
His last name is Voorhees.
$2, get to the penalty box. Like, you're just doing that to bother me. You don't like him. You're the one who's complaining about it more than
terrible.
Like, you are a fraud. Get out of here.
Totally made the name.
Get out of here. We don't know the dude's name. It's not
Totally made it
Jason. You totally made that up. You've never asked him his name because you're scared of it. Roy, yes or no? You know the person I'm talking
Dan,
about.
I know exactly. Yes,
and you're scared of it.
Yes, I am.
All right, can we not have him back?
He's got a cool, like, Vincent D'Onofrio Full Metal Jacket thing going for him.
No.
All right, so we're scared of that guy. But
Jason,
the most consistent guy, what's his name?
Steven.
Huh. The most consistent guy.
Just in terms of who's here, you're saying?
Every time I walk out of the studio, there's somebody I don't know holding a sandwich who has been let in by him. As far as I can tell, he's more of a concierge sort of bellhop than he is a security person.
Hey, that's
like every time I go out there, there's somebody I don't know in the middle of what is a very small space. Some CEO, somebody.
Yeah, he does.
Somebody with a sandwich.
It's a difficult job. Someone's got to do it. Thankfully,
who is he keeping out?
The other security guard, Jason.
Yeah, that's my fear. My fear is the actual threat is the security guard.
Well, this is how it ends. Jason tramples Billy, murders us all, and this is the sound that plays on TMZ. 7 dead at the Clevelander because this scary security guard,
Jason.
Yeah.
How are you back already, Billy? Is no one keeping time on you? Like, what are you? You're skating off the ice. You're skating off the ice for 15 seconds at a time. Whose rules are you playing by today? Spin the wheel again.
Oh, yes. Come on, Marlins.
Panthers. Sorry, it's the faulty wheel. I hate that this
We
is
need to talk to Juan. Everything's breaking around here. The printer, the wheel. What's going on? Wheels are falling off.
Security guard.
Hold on. Explain this to me. As we negotiate with Disney as a big, strong radio show. Why can't we get a television camera, and why can't we get a printer that works?
Printer works now.
It does. It hasn't worked for 4 days.
Got some ink?
Why can't we get a security guard who works?
There's no threats. What is he going to do?
By works, you mean actually shows up to work?
You don't know that everyone who walks in here with a sandwich doesn't have something hidden in the sandwich. Is he running it through his metal detector?
Yeah, he's got one of those. And he doesn't. But he's got a metal plate in his head.
He sets off metal detectors. Totally nude. Sir, yeah. They keep stripping him down until he's walking through nothing but naked, and they're like, we don't understand why this continues to trigger the metal detector.
When I meet with these guards before they take the job, the whole litmus test is, let me look into your eyes, and if I can gauge whether or not those eyes have seen things, then I get hired. His eyes have seen things.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Jason has seen some weird bleep.
Yeah. Don't look into his eyes. Don't do
There's
it.
probably a couple tours in Iraq. I'm just guessing.
I don't know why you're laughing, Stugotz.
Not even organized. I'm not even saying he was. I'm saying he went to Iraq for vacation.
That's right. No, that's what I think. That's right. He wasn't in
for a getaway.
No, that's right.
A couple of
He
tours.
just wanted to be near the action. He's not in the military in any way. His allegiance is to no government and no cause. He's just like, where can I find danger? Is it the guy with a sandwich in the middle of the Cleveland, or is it in Iraq?
He's like, my name's Jason, but call me Nomad. I was like, okay, Nomad.
You're hired.
You're hired, Nomad.
Protect our front door. Again, I asked the question. I don't think it's an unreasonable one. Why do people with sandwiches keep getting in here? Why do delivery people with sandwiches continue to breach our security system?
Because you keep ordering sandwiches, man.
Stop ordering.
I'm not ordering the sandwiches.
Hungry.
Is this Stugotz's fault?
Yeah. I mean, we eat a lot. I'm fat. What do you want from me?
I love how, there was a run where we were getting sandwiches often, and now we get sandwiches once a week, and we're eternally grateful for Sandwich Day. But I go out into that hallway, and the sandwiches, it's always like a difficult ordering process. But Stugotz always has his VIP sandwich every day.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you.
This
is what I'm saying to you. Now we're getting somewhere. Stugotz's VIP sandwiches are going to get us all killed. I need to go to commercial and gather myself. It's all become clear. This is a moment of epiphany.
If that's the way I go, that's the way I go. Like if I'm eating one of those ribeye cheesesteaks and that's the end of me, and I have lived a happy life. And that's the way I would want to go. Death by cheesesteak.
Under the foot of Jason Nomad, who vacations in Iraq.
Winning at sports and at sports broadcasting means changing things up.
Just like La Quinta Inns and Suites is changing up their look.
A renovated lobby that's so contemporary it even makes Golick look cool.
Yes, it does. And a totally updated fitness center that even has Wingo feeling like a workout.
I'm ripped. Plus plenty of comfortable spaces to hang out.
Yep, this La Quinta look definitely has a vibe of victory.
So you can just relax, refresh, and get ready for your next big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
Don Le Batard.
I'll tell you one guy you don't want to mess with is Ryback. You could watch a movie on his back in the competition. He gets the crowd chanting, "Feed me more."
Stugotz.
How was that you hit by Ryback like that? Good night. Oh, I get a sore throat watching Ryback. Don't do it, Ryback. Oh, watch out for Ryback.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Guy is writing in here, or woman is writing in here, over the Sixers' 12-game winning streak, they've played 10 below 500 teams, mostly tanking teams, and one team currently in the playoffs.
They've also been without Embiid for some of that.
Yes.
That's fairly recent in their streak, though. I've made that point. The Sixers are beating up on bad teams.
Yeah, but the Heat are losing to the Nets at home.
Understood, but look at the rating since January 1st, okay? They've been the third best team in the East, the Miami Heat have. Fifth best team in the NBA.
Below the Sixers, right?
What have the Sixers been?
Okay, but the Sixers are beating up a really bad team.
I know, and the Heat have too.
And also, this is a metric, quantifiable, advanced. I think Hollinger came up with it. The Heat have been there before.
That's right. So here is this text from this person, because he is writing in, or she is writing in, it's a screed. Ben Simmons will get Tony Allen by Spo in the playoffs. Heat in 6 over the Sixers. The Sixers cannot win. Why should we be scared of the Sixers without their best player, Jimmy Butler?
That's true. They don't have him.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Tough sledding without Jimmy.
Sports Radio. Heat and 6. Jimmy Butler's got no answers for us, even though he's in the other conference.
If we could, for a second, I don't want this to be Homer Guy. I just want to look at what the Heat have done on the court against these teams, and since Dwayne Wade has rejoined the team. There's only like one reasonable argument where you should tell me you should fear this team, and it's really the Raptors. And all the stuff that we believe in the Raptors is not really quantifiable outside of the postseason numbers at DeRozan and Lowry. That team's just joking. We got to see them do it.
I, in order, fear them this way. And this isn't fair to the Celtics because I think you should fear them all. I think all 4 of those teams you should fear.
I'm not fearing a Celtic team that doesn't have Kyrie Irving.
That's fine, but they are continually overachieving. And without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, to me, they still continue to play at the level of the Heat. If you're watching that team play with its young players, the Boston Celtics, even without 2 stars, are playing at the level that the Miami Heat is playing.
They've won 7 of 10. The Heat have won 7 of 10.
But what I'm saying is that team, if you want to match your culture against that culture, you're not a clear winner there. You're not a clear winner there. Like they've got all of those overachieving pieces. They also don't have a star. That's why you would like your chances against them, even though they're really good.
Right. And a bunch of young guys, to Mike's point, I guess, with Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
But I don't fear. What do you fear? This is the thing. This is where me and Mike get separated on this discussion. What I fear in the playoffs isn't culture, discipline, been there before, experience, will, work hard, defense. What I fear in the playoffs is stars.
Right.
Miami doesn't have one. You never want that to be the thing you go into the playoffs with.
No. I mean, you have one at the end of the game, right? You do have that.
I mean, does that still count, though? Wade's level of play is not a star level of play. It's just a fame.
I said just at the end of the game.
I know, but his level of play at the end of a game is just fame. It's not, it's reputation. It's not skill right now.
But I'm saying for right now, I'd rather in the final moments of a big game, a playoff game, I'd trust Dwayne Wade to finish that game off before I trust Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid.
Okay.
I would.
All right. Well, that's okay. Fair enough. End of games. Ben Simmons has a faulty jumper and Joel Embiid's a post player largely. And yes. Okay. Fair enough. But when they played the Sixers here, what ate them up at the end was Joel Embiid.
No doubt.
And what ate up the Sixers was Dwayne Wade. I just don't think Philadelphia can beat Miami in a series where Eric Spoelstra's like, okay, let me see. You got those superstars, these young guys. I'll stop them. I'll throw Josh Richardson at him. I'll stop these guys.
The end of that Sixers game was such a crapshoot fluke that Wade won. Like, if we start playing the odds on let's play that game every time in the playoffs, what do you think we're going to get the result more often?
The team that's been there before. Always. The guy that did it.
Yeah.
The guy that did it. I've never seen them do it in the playoffs. Have you? How many game winners has Joel Embiid had? I'm just asking, off the top of my head.
Well, go ahead. Give it a team.
How many playoff moments has he had? All these games with them outside of one has been a coin flip.
I know, but when I then move it, right, and say, okay, fine. I'll say, Mike, you're right. And now we're playing Cleveland, and you're trying to make that argument. And they've got LeBron, and you're going to make a different argument. You're going to change your argument to convince yourself that you could beat Cleveland, too. You're going to find all the arguments that allow you to ignore the sample size of a team being better than you over 82 games. You will find all the reasons that you can beat that team.
Precisely. It's so hard to understand.
Right.
But I do have, would since 2010 be a good metric for you? Is that a large enough sample since 2010?
With LeBron?
Since 2010. LeBron's been there for a while since 2010.
Yeah,
just off the top of your head.
Why not 2009? Why not 2008? Why
didn't you pick 2010, please?
We're starting at 2010.
But why not 2015?
Because this is when we all really started paying attention to LeBron.
Yeah. They finished 5th in 2010.
Thank you, appreciate it. Since 2010, want to tell me all the times Cleveland has won in Miami? Just off the top of the dome. Since 2010, large sample. Just tell me all the times the Cleveland Cavaliers organization owned by Dan Gilbert has won
but
in Miami, Florida.
Half the sample was LeBron beating Cleveland.
And half the sample is LeBron sitting out games. Since 2010, how many times has a Dan Gilbert-owned Cleveland Cavalier team won in Miami? I will wait for your answer.
Answer the question, Dan. I mean, he's being patient. He's asked it 3 times now. I mean, answer the question.
Okay, 0 is the answer.
0. Yeah. Thank you. In the words of John Lewis.
Great guess.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. 0 times. All of a sudden, they're going to stroll here and do something they haven't done.
Dan Gilbert's not going to walk into the American Airlines Arena and do something he's never done before.
Hasn't.
Since 2010.
He might not. And judging by recent history, 75% chance LeBron doesn't even play in those games.
If
he hasn't missed one all season.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Will the Heat beat the Cavs in a 7-game series if LeBron rests for 4 of the games?
Well, no.
I actually want to see that series the most, and it's actually the one, really, when you pin me down, that's the one that I have the least confidence in.
Really?
The Cavs one, just because it's LeBron James, man. He's amazing.
Huh.
The thing that I lean on with LeBron is just mental. He doesn't like playing down here. He kind of gets weird when he's playing against Dwayne Wade. It's just a little odd, and it'll start getting tight around them. That whole organization, if this team in particular, the Miami Heat, start pressing them, and that's all.
That's why I want that series.
You got to think all angles, though, Mike, because LeBron is in tank mode. I mean, this needs to end really, really poorly for him.
That's another
to either convince Gilbert to trade that pick to get Kawhi Leonard, or he's going to come down here.
Yeah, things have gotten screwy when he decides to leave a place. So that's what I count on.
That's the series I want more than any other. That would be the most fun. Heat against Cavaliers, but we've been talking about this since 2010 as well.
I know.
Go ahead and doubt that he's going to lose a series at your risk, and you're going to be wrong the grand majority of the time, because we've been doing that since 2010, and he's lost not that much.
That's why I've never been wrong. You were wrong last year. Mm-hmm. You fell for it. People are going to fall for it again this year. I know they are.
Well, but even when they're losing, they're just losing at the very end. They're never losing in the East.
Never.
They're never.
No.
Another thing that we've been doing since 2010 has been wanting to see Cavs Heat.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cavs in the early part of that of this time frame were not even good enough to be in that conversation. But since he'd gone back, we've been wanting to see that series. And this is probably the worst incarnation of it, and I still want it desperately.
A lot of people are writing in, hey, Dan, he'd rest for 3 games, not 4. That's a fine. No, I want the question is 4 games. I want the question. Do you have the Heat beating LeBron in one game that LeBron's not playing in the playoffs?
So most compelling series, obviously, the LeBron one. I think best in terms of just playoff drama is the Sixers, because those games against them have been awesome this season.
They are fun to watch.
They dislike each other.
The reason... this is what I would say to you. I want the Heat to advance. You know this. And I do not like their chances against any of those teams because basketball.
Yeah, basketball does the best job of giving you the true champion every single year.
And there aren't a lot of examples of starless winning in any round of the playoffs.
But the Dan Batard and Stugotz in Philadelphia, Boston, Cleveland, and Toronto, they're talking about how they don't want to see the Miami Heat. They're talking about them the exact same way.
Yeah, I think if you ask all those people, do you want to see the Heat or Milwaukee? They say, please, the Heat. Milwaukee's got a player we fear.
They don't want Giannis.
The Heat does not. The Heat does not have a player we fear.
Didn't Toronto match up against Milwaukee fine in the playoffs? Toronto and Miami have a playoff history.
Well, Toronto doesn't have any reason to be lacking confidence against anybody but Cleveland. Toronto can feel really good about itself against anybody. If you're talking about all that mind frame stuff, Toronto will be better equipped for mind frame against the Heat than LeBron will be.
Yeah.
Because there's so much weird, that stuff that you're talking about with LeBron is Dwayne blocking 2 shots in a game of LeBron's when LeBron doesn't get his shot blocked is odd.
And think about all the things that I'm counting on in a Toronto series. I'm counting on DeRozan and Lowry not being good, them cracking under pressure. And yeah, they had their moments in that series. But if you look at that series that happened a couple of years ago, it happened. It happened, and Toronto still won.
Texter writes in, get to Marlins talk already. Dr. K is on the mound.
It's a big night for Dr. K. It really is. Guillermo and I were talking, this is for the legacy of Dr. K and for this thing to carry forward. Tonight is a crucial night in his development. It is, yeah.
Today could be the end of Dr. K. Yeah. Me and Stugotz were talking. There's a Dr. K movement sweeping the nation right now.
You guys want to tell people about the Dr. K joke, or you just want to keep going?
It's not a joke. It's his real name, Dr. K, Caleb Smith. Yeah. Everybody knows he's referred to as Dr. K. He had 8 strikeouts in 5 innings last game. Dr. K. Everyone knows it.
The C in Caleb stands for K's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we were talking, me and Stugotz, the other day, and Stugotz came up with a great idea, which I'm conflicted on. Stugotz thinks we should get a big group out for Dr. K's next outing if he has 2 or 3 more good starts. Now, I've been saying we shouldn't be going out there. And he thinks we should take C cards for every time he makes a strikeout. Dr. K, give him a C card, obviously. So, Tonight's a big one for Dr. K because if he, poops the bed, then this train that's left the station is going to lose a little momentum. So I don't know if we're going to be able to.
All right. Well, here is.
And listen, it's an ace's job, Dan, to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, and that's what Dr. K needs to do tonight.
Well, that's what Urania did last time. Yeah. He came, he outpitched Chris Sale. So now, what's going on here with this team is the pitchers are having a competition amongst themselves. Who's the ace of this staff? Could be Dr. K. We'll find out tonight.
I know what's going on. Billy's a phony with this Marlins team.
Total phony.
What?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo.
I will not do that.
Well, somebody else put it on the poll.
I'll do it.
Is
all off season.
I don't.
Whole off season.
No.
Is Guillermo a fraud when it comes to the Marlins?
How am I a fraud?
Well, because you're going to pay to see Dr. K before the end.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll be an invited guest by Dr. K.
Help me with this part of it, though, because this has been an eternal frustration of mine. Well, I shouldn't say eternal. Since Stugotz walked into my life, this has been a frustration of mine. We talk about doing a lot of things and do very few of them. As just a show. It's sort of a show philosophy. So I don't believe that you're going to get Stugotz to a Marlins game to put out Dr. K cards.
C cards.
C. That's a fun.
C cards for Dr. K. Yeah. But it's all up to Dr. K, Dan. The ball's in his court, on his mound, in his hand, if you will.
So I think what Dan is saying is I'm rooting against Caleb Smith.
Well, you're not going to do anything. It doesn't even matter what Caleb Smith does. You're not going to the ballpark to do anything with Guillermo. You're going to say you are for months and months until the Marlins have another fire sale where they trade the 300-game winner Dr. K.
Yeah, I mean, it is far, you're right. But for enough money, I think I could be there.
And Billy says he's not going to go, and Billy's going to go. He'll go to at least like 20 or 25 games.
No. I'm not going to 25
So look
games.
at what you're doing. This is why you're a fraud. For enough money, Stugotz will pay tickets to watch the Marlins and support the Marlins, and you will go out to the Marlins, and people will go with you, and that's why Chris is right that you're a phony. But the other thing I want to get into, as it relates to Chris specifically, is like this American Ninja Warrior thing would be funny and good. It's coming to town. We're ready. We've got waivers. We're ready to do it. The first email from anybody on this is Chris saying, guys, I can only do it Friday. I got a wedding Saturday night.
What do you want from me? I can't go Saturday. I'll go Friday.
That's fair. I don't think.
I'm just saying this is going to fall apart. That's where the first string unravels, and then we're going to forget about it, and then it's going to be the Tuesday after American Ninja Warriors. We're going to be like, hey, when's that American Ninja Warriors thing? Oh, we missed it. It was over the weekend.
I think that's
Chris was at a wedding.
No, I think that's Chris doing a good job telling you well in advance. Hey, I can only do it Friday. Can't do it Saturday. I was planning on saying the same thing, but on Thursday nights.
I also emailed Allison that Saturday is no good for me.
I'm going to do it, all right, you cowards. None of you want to be embarrassed, and you're making up all these obligations. I will be there, and I will fail in front of everyone spectacularly.
It is so good to see your testicles grow. Wait a minute. Good, Billy. I am so proud of your confidence. You are an American Ninja Warrior. And the only thing that will stop you, the only thing that will make you fall from one of those bars into a pool of water will be the weight of your newly grown testicles.
Hold on, let me see what time the Marlins game is at that day. I may have gained to 10.
Is it Dr. K's spot in the rotation? Is it Dr. K?
Circle K.
Yeah, let's think about this.
Do you have it in your calendar with a K through it?
And I will be there to support you, Billy. As long as it's on Friday.
Yeah, Friday sounds good.
Abuela's turning 90 on Saturday. God bless her. Can't miss that.
Oh, Abuela.
I'll do the course on Friday.
Okay.
Say I won't.
Well, okay. All right. Well, let's videotape it. Who is Amin doing it?
Amin's excited. We'll see if he does it.
No one's excited enough to get back to the email.
Well, this is the thing. This is where I'm marching.
Fat Chris did.
Look, again, yes.
No, Fat Chris did, and I did. I didn't want to reply, but nobody else had.
But Fat Chris did so with that one thread of already, like Saturday. Here's the thing that's being unstated. It's already been stated for all parties involved that the best day to do it in terms of freedom, access to the course, everything else is Saturday. So the first salvo that was lobbed, can't do it, was Chris. So, and what I'm saying is that's where I've seen traditionally where this tapestry unravels every time. That's where it starts to unravel.
I got my first lacrosse game next Saturday, man. I do. I mean, I'm calling it for ESPNU. I ain't missing that thing for the world. Certainly not for an American Ninja track. I mean, I'll do it Friday. Friday, I'm in. Friday, I'm here. I'm in. I'm good to go.
Look, if Abuela Juana's 90th birthday was on Friday, I would have been there on Saturday. But Abuela Juana's turning 90 on Saturday. Yeah. So, I'm out.
It's unfortunate.
90 years have led up to Saturday. I'm not missing it for American Ninja Warrior. Yeah.
Dan, I know you were wondering about my research from earlier. If MLB had 8 playoff teams per league make it every season over the past 10 years,
how many?
The Marlins would have made it 5 times to the playoffs.
That's not as good as the Heat.
No, it's not, but it's not as bad as the other teams.
No, but if the rules were the same, it would be as good as the Heat.
Yeah. The Heat 8 times, the Marlins 5. But
it's not as good.
Back-to-back seasons for the Marlins in the playoffs, maybe this build that's currently going on wouldn't have happened. And by the way, why is it that 8 teams make the playoffs in basketball? Because you guys are right. Basketball is the most fair in the best team winning. So what the hell's the point of all the other teams making the playoffs if you know they're going to lose anyways?
Money?
It's a great point.
Big time money.
No, it's a great point. But you have the Warriors and the Rockets and the Cavaliers, just those 3 teams. The Cavs don't have to play anyone. They just go to the finals.
Yeah, just have one against one.
It's money. It's money. It's all first round, second round money with teams that aren't going to win anything.
What if you had the 2 best teams make the playoffs and the playoffs were still the same length, but it was just the same teams playing each other over and over again? So it's like a 27-game series between the Warriors and the Cavs. That wouldn't get old, right?
No. But what am I getting with the Rockets? I need a 27
terrible idea.
There's not 2 minutes left in the segment.
I also just realized I have to break it to Abuela Juana that the UM spring game is also that Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be quite the twofer I have to pull off.
Abuela who? What's her name?
Abuela Juana. She's Dominican.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, 90 years old. Sweet lady. That comes second behind the U.
That's right. Get her on the American Ninja course.